Your inner child screams, but your inner king whispers. So this is to highlight, we can go through life and maybe you get in an argument with, a key relationship, whether it's a family member or a loved one or a friend, and it stirs something up, but you love this person and you go off and you're in a bad mood for maybe days and you don't really understand why. Well, typically something got brought up that was a core wound of your inner child, or maybe it was just a need not being met, where you wanted to be fully seen, fully heard, or fully supported. And it brought open that wound. Now, unfortunately, that person can't help you heal that part of yourself. But the only person that can is yourself.
This is your invitation. Become the alchemist of your life. You decode your heaven on earth and go through the alchemical process. The alchemist is a master of himself so that he can master life. People thought alchemists were turning lead into gold, but they're really crystallizing their soul into form. Alchemize your golden potential. Welcome to the golden life.
And today's episode is going to be an in-depth exploration of the inner work and how to heal your inner child so that you can start to embody your higher self. So first of all, just out of curiosity, how connected do you feel with your inner child? And if you don't know, we all have our own inner child. It has its own needs and wants. And if you go about life unconsciously, it will have power over you. So if you want to learn how to embody your highest self, your inner king or queen, then you must learn how to build the foundational relationship with both your inner child and your inner king and queen. And I want to tell you the story of these toys I have. And for the listeners, I have this Deadpool with a crown on, symbolizing the king, and I have this Lego statue of little Groot that's half Venom. And to me, these were gifts that just kind of came into my life and really highlighted, have a lot of meaning and highlighted important parts of my own story. Number one, being this little Groot, I grew up on a walnut farm. And I played outdoors a lot. And I consider myself a pretty grounded person, as well as I don't always use a lot of words, and I tend to be heavy-headed. I get stuck in my head a lot. Now, Venom has always been my own symbol for my shadow side. But what I've come to understand that even deeper than that, this also symbolizes the hurt and scared inner child that the majority of us all have. And that inner child only has this deep sense of wanting to belong and fit in and have its needs met. So much of the inner work is about healing your inner child and integrating your shadow. And this is critical because this is how you build a strong enough foundation to even be able to hear your higher self, let alone embody your highest self, your highest potential. So it's helpful to know that doing this inner work, so much of it is about cultivating that relationship with your inner child. Now, it is a trap door that you can get so stuck in doing the inner work that you also forget to simultaneously build a relationship with your inner king or queen. And this is to highlight when you're ready to embark upon the journey of self-discovery, when you're ready to understand yourself, to bring yourself back to a state of wholeness, to heal that inner child, to integrate that shadow side of yourself that you didn't want to look at. That during the journey, it's just as important to balance out catharsis, healing, with ecstasis, with love, with joy, or curated peak experiences, as we've talked about. because it can be easy to fall into the trap door of there's always more work to be done. There's always more work to be done. Oh, I have this other part that needs to be healed. I have this other part that needs to be healed. But simultaneously, it's all about developing that relationship with your inner king or queen. And one of the really beautiful things about life is that there's only one person in the whole galaxy that can be the perfect parent to your inner child. And maybe you had really awesome parents, but then again, they don't know your every single need or want. But the one person that does is, yes, you. So just creating a practice of spending time to build a relationship with your inner child will bring you so much more peace, so much more love, because you'll create the opportunity, and I'll share a little bit of how to do this so that you could really start to understand your inner child's needs and wants. Because here's how it works. Your inner child screams, but your inner king whispers. So this is to highlight, we can go through life and maybe you get in an argument with, a key relationship, whether it's a family member or a loved one or a friend, and it stirs something up, but you love this person and you go off and you're in a bad mood for maybe days and you don't really understand why. Well, typically something got brought up that was a core wound of your inner child, or maybe it was just a need not being met, where you wanted to be fully seen, fully heard, or fully supported, and it brought open that wound. Now, unfortunately, that person can't help you heal that part of yourself, but the only person that can is yourself. And in order to do this, it can be as simple as creating space within your day to get quiet, to feel your feelings fully, and then check in with your inner child. You can just visualize them as if they're right in front of you or in your lap, and you give them a big hug and you let them know you're here. You're ready to listen to them. You want to know their needs and wants. And as you do that, you'll build a relationship. Because if you don't, that inner child is going to be screaming at you subconsciously all the time. And this can be why you self-sabotage, why you're going to go do things but you never do it, or why you just stay in a depressive state or down mood for an extended period of time and you don't really understand why. Because there's this inner part of you that's screaming for attention, screaming to be supported, to be heard, to be seen. So as you do that, the beautiful thing is you also create space. And that space gives you the opportunity to hear the whispers of your higher self. Because we'll go through life and sometimes we think there's this thing we want, but it turns out that was really because that was just a need that didn't get met of our inner child. And like the typical example, right, is the millionaire or billionaire who made all the money, got all the material success, but still feels completely empty inside. Now, they most likely had some inner child wound that caused them to want to achieve that success to fill that wound, but that won't fill the wound. Only you can fill your own wound. So as you do that, you give the opportunity to also hear your true desires, to hear that life you truly want to live, to build that relationship with your inner king or queen. So now you'll start to gain the ability to understand where your internal pull is coming from. Is it coming from the inner child or is it coming from the higher self? And I literally keep these on my bookshelf as a reminder. And I intentionally have the little Groot / half Venom standing up. And he even kind of looks like he's screaming and he's making his needs and wants known. Whereas the inner king is just sitting patiently, sitting quietly. because it's a symbol for how they operate within us. And I know for myself, I've shared my own story of growing up as a kid and sense of powerlessness and my own emotional wounds and dealing with a negative mindset, which you could see some, traditions talk about Weriko, a mind virus, and it tries to sneak in through the mind and get in the way from you achieving your fullest potential. And I know for myself, it has been that journey of understanding the little inner child did get taken over by so much pain and so much fear. But the beautiful thing is I had the opportunity to be the one to pull him out, pull him out of the darkness and bring him back to the love and light within myself. And then simultaneously to understand, to make space, to hear the true whispers of my higher self so that I could surrender to that path to truly stepping into my fullest potential, my fullest expression. So that is my hope for you to do the same. And very practically, this looks like I mentioned before, that you can just have a practice. When you get into a emotional state that's really down and you don't understand why, well, this is your greatest opportunity for self-discovery. You get to go within yourself, and you can do a practice as simple as creating space within your day. This can be minutes, this can be 10 minutes, or maybe an hour. And then bonus points if you want to go do this outside, somewhere in nature. And you could sit down on the grass or sit down by a tree and spend a couple minutes getting grounded. Just feel the grass beneath your feet. Just feel Mother Earth fully supporting you in the moment. And as you really start to settle in, maybe you focus just on your breath, just going in and out. You'll create the safety, you'll create the grounding you need to really open up to your inner child. And then you can visualize your inner child right in front of you. And then, like I said, you can give them a big hug or let them know, he or she know how much you love them and that you're just here to listen. You're just here to be with them. And then you can use your imagination to have an actual conversation with them. If it helps to see a little one in front of you in your lap, beautiful. If it helps to see them sitting across from you, beautiful. Whatever that looks like for you, just go with it. And then you can get quiet and let them have the space to share what they need or want. And then after that, you could thank them for being vulnerable and having the trust to share with you. Tell them how much you love them. Then you could let them know if this is something you can act on right now, or if this is not something that's in alignment with the inner king, but we would do our best to get those needs at least met. Maybe not the wants, but at least the needs. Just have that, adult to child conversation that you can have, and then finish it by thanking them again, giving them the biggest hug possible, and telling them you're always here to listen. And as you do that, you're going to start to build that foundation. That is a foundational practice to come back to. Because then you can start to learn, like I said before, what is the voice of the inner child. And then you'll start to hear more of the whisper of the inner king, and then know that it's your higher self. And then you can build on that relationship as well. And then you can build the confidence to know when you are in alignment with your higher purpose, your higher path, and when you're just getting sidetracked by past pain or unmet desires or needs. So thank you for joining me on the journey today. This is a lifelong journey of discovery. And if you could really see the beauty of it, that we all get the opportunity to just be that perfect parent, as well as develop that relationship with our higher selves, that you could see it's a true honor and gift that we have this potential within us, and that we don't have to count on anybody else outside of us, but we just get to count on ourselves. And it just starts with making that space, holding that inner child, and then learning to listen to that inner king. So thank you. And if you're looking for more tools to help you with this process of inner discovery and doing the inner work, well, go visit www.goldenlife.com and sign up for free with the Golden Life Library, where I share more tools to help you in this process. Thank you, and have a golden rest of your day.